Hello, everybody. Welcome to Back of Box Review, the show where I review the back of a box for some reason. Now, today, we've got Essential Everyday Cocoa Crunchies. So, let's see what we got on the back. A lot of text, but a refreshing lack of advertising. So let's go into this. I don't think I need to cut to this. I'll just read it like so. Accidents happen. Most inventions are the result of years of targeted development. That's not a right voice. Most inventions are the result of years of targeted development, but sometimes all it takes is a little luck. Here are a few of the biggest inventions we'd never have been able to enjoy if not for a happy accident and a little inspired thinking. Popsicles. Leave it to an 11-year-old to create these kid-friendly frozen treats. In 1905, a forgetful San Franciscan, I'm sorry, left a popular soda-like powder and water concoction in his backyard overnight. They really went out of their way to make sure they didn't say anything remotely sounding to Kool-Aid. Soda-like powder and water concoction. I love that. Okay, When he awoke in the morning, the sweet chew had frozen to his stirring stick, and the popsicle was born. Toy Spring. In 1943, a Navy engineer was experimenting with using springs to keep sensitive instruments aboard ships more stable when he knocked one of his prototypes over. I'm sorry. That was a long sentence. I'm going to try to read it again. Okay. In 1943, a Navy engineer was experimenting with using springs to keep his sensitive experiments aboard ships more stable when he knocked one of his prototypes over. I think this could have been edited a little bit more. That was a tough sentence for me. Anyways, to his surprise and the eventual delight of kids everywhere, instead of tipping over, it gracefully sprang forward and then righted itself. Thus the simplest of the children's toys. The simplest was created and the search for the perfect staircase was born. I don't know if it's the simplest. I mean, if you think about it, it may not seem like much, but what, compared to a block and a stick? I don't know. I don't know about simplest. Okay, to be fair. No, it says, thus the simplest of children's toys was created. No! Slinkies are not that. There's a lot in a slinky. There's a lot of metal that goes into making a slinky. There's a process, and more than just whittling away at a block of wood to make a little fox or something. Anyways, let's move away from spring toys. Let's get into the sticky notes. All right. One of the most popular office supplies in the world was a result of a not-so-super strength adhesive and a choir singer who kept losing his place. Frustrated by the makers of his hymnal repeatedly falling out of the book, the scientist turned to a failed glue formula to keep his markers locked in place without damaging the pages, and effectively turned a worthless mistake into one of his company's biggest successes. All right. That one was better. I think there still was a needlessly long sentence, maybe, but I managed to get through everything there. All right. Microwave. During World War II, a radar specialist was tinkering around with the microwave emitters when he was shocked to realize that the chocolate bar in his pockets began to melt. Like any good scientist, he conducted more tests and found the microwaves could actually be used to ruin all sorts of food. Okay, it says to heat anything from corn kernels to full meals. But microwaves are a culinary abomination, and I highly recommend you never ever use one. Chocolate chip cookies. One day in 1930, an inn-owner in Massachusetts ran out of baker's chocolate for their popular chocolate flavored cookies. So they used chunks of a common chocolate bar in its place. Unfortunately, the semi-sweet substitute didn't spread in the oven like its baker-made cousin. Luckily, though, guests loved the new treat, and the recipe for the chocolate chip cookies was written. The ice cream cone. During the 1904 World's Fair, an ice cream vendor was doing so well that it soon ran out of serving dishes. I lost my place. Not wanting to turn the customers away, the vendor came up with a groundbreaking idea of rolling the neighboring stall's wafer-thin waffle treats into a cone shape and putting the ice cream on top. I ran out of funny things to say towards the end, so I just went with a different tone of voice to try to make up for any lack of humor. I hope that worked. I feel like it didn't. Anyways, now that I got through all of that, what do I think of this? A lot of reading. This is definitely going to be more for the older children, like the early double digits around and upward around there. And I've noticed this with pretty much everyday essential or essential everydays that they do take the time to put stuff on the back, but it's never related directly to the cereal, but they always try to have something, even for the adults, but that's more or less a lot of just wordy stuff like this. The kids' stuff will have some activities occasionally, but I don't have any of those at the moment. So, this may not be the most entertaining thing in the world, although reading these stories as a kid is always interesting to find out how things, happened. And I'm surprised they didn't mention cornflakes of some sort, because I'm pretty sure that was an accident too, and that would go in with the whole cereal thing. A bit of a missed opportunity there, but it doesn't really change the overall thing of this thing. So it's a lot of reading, so it's going to bring the entertainment value down a little bit, unless of course you do like reading. Then yeah, like if you're a big wild reader thing, like if you're a kid that likes to read, then yeah, this might be fine. But then a lot of these things I just I found out by reading a book in the first place for me. So, yeah, this would just be kind of a lot of a. Yeah, I remember reading about that. Maybe, depending on if I got a hold of this first. So, yeah. Uh, Educational, yes, you're definitely learning something here. That's its strongest point, is its although this really it's more trivia in the grand scheme of things because you don't really need to know a brief history of a lot of these things. It's not like, the history of America. That's something you might want to know, or any country in general. It's a good idea to have a basic grasp of where they're coming from. Anyways, hmm. I think I'm feeling this is pretty balanced. I think I'm gonna try to give it a nice middle rating, like a C. I think this is worth a C. I mean, it's got a lot of educational value to a degree, but if you don't like reading, this might not be the most fun for you, but it is what it is. So, yeah, I think that's about it for this one. So, I'll see you in the next one. So, take care. God bless.